This is Patrick Bourne. It is April the 12th, 2023. Wanted to kind of give an update here. First, take a listen to Commissioner Yormark and some of the things that the Big 12 is doing. And we will be hearing about more details in following weeks. Things like concerts around the Big 12 venues, things like the Big 12 Mexico, things of this nature. So let's take a listen to him first.
This morning, we announced the first ever business summit for our 10 existing members and the 4 that are coming in July. And that will take place this spring. And we will discuss all the key business verticals. We have industry experts coming in. We're tapping into our business advisory board. So it's not so much just about bringing ideas, but it's also making sure that you execute against those ideas, which we've tried to do in my first 8 months. The first was obviously a business summit, which we announced today. We wanted to reinvent our championships. And by that, I mean, we wanted to drive revenue. And we wanted the conference to reside at the intersection of culture and sport. And if you look at what we just recently did in Kansas City, we accomplished all that by celebritizing our event, by driving incremental revenue. And we replaced that with premium seating for our big donors and fans. And I think the championship was very indicative of where this conference is going as we use music to help tell our story, as we want to reside at the intersection of culture and sport. And most importantly, we want to drive meaningful revenue that we can disperse back to our member institutions. Music is also a big part of where we're going. And on that 10-point list, I talked about a concert tour, which we're going to be announcing here in the next couple of weeks. We talked about an international strategy, and I'm heading to Mexico, in fact, later this month. And our goal is to launch Big 12 Mexico. So many of the ideas that we outlined during that interview process, we are executing against. And I think they're a point of differentiation for us when you think about the kind of things we're doing and the other conferences. And they hopefully give people a reason to vote yes for the Big 12.
You have completely changed the game in terms of how a conference is marketed, because that marketing helps your coaches attract 5-star athletes.
The number one thing that we're trying to do here is to get on the consciousness of future student athletes, to give them a reason to vote yes for the Big 12. And in order to do that, we as a conference need to behave differently. We need to tap into culture. We need to think about what's driving the interest of those future student athletes and give them, so to speak, a peek under the hood, and so that they can vote yes for this conference. One of the first things we did was during our football championship game, we did a merchandising collaboration with a streetwear brand called Bathing Ape. The response we got from that, from current student athletes and future student athletes, that the Big 12 was collaborating with a brand like Bathing Ape, drove so much interest socially. And in fact, the number one basketball recruit for Texas Tech's men's team next year went on Twitter to say, I am so thrilled that I'm joining a conference that would partner with a brand like Bathing Ape. And that was a validation for me, for our conference, and for the things we're doing, because the goal ultimately is everything we do needs to resonate with the student athlete, the current student athlete and the future student athlete. So, and if we can be a catalyst for recruitment and, to drive the value of our member institutions, then we're doing the right thing. But our goal is to do more and more of that, and we're seeding change along the way.
Well, as you can see, the Big 12 is it's younger and hipper for sure. Commissioner Yormark has done a lot already in his short tenure to bolster the conference, so that's pretty awesome. Some of the issues, though, were, as far as Monty Show would say, as the Pac-12 turns, one of the latest things was a New York Post article that Andrew Marchand specifically said that they said the CW is now in play, they being the Pac. We will add this to the conversation around potential defections from Pac-12 to the Big 12, and then he says, watch Colorado. So this was huge. He's specifically talking about defections from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, and he says to watch Colorado. So since there have been a lot of folks on YouTube talking about Colorado to be the first to jump, and that very may well be. I'm guessing, and I believe that Colorado University has a meeting next Monday, April the 17th. And so hopefully next Monday we find out whether or not Colorado is making the jump to the Big 12. And if so, I would believe Arizona would be right behind them. Some people have even gone as far, like the Locked On Baylor podcast has gone as far as to say that get ready to welcome Oregon, Washington, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado, of the Four Corner schools. And we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be all that much, but it could be. Certainly well. It depends on kind of what the Big Ten does with their new commissioner. All those things are big question marks. Things are kind of still out there, but boy, there seems to be a lot of smoke right now, especially around Colorado and Arizona. This PAC deal being pushed out to late spring, early summer is definitely not helping the PAC, that is.
There's only so much shelf space in the TV world. There's only so many TV slots on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday or a Thursday. And once those slots are gone, then there's no more shelf space. And so you kind of had to beat other people to a spot in order to secure that shelf space. You did a great job on that.
One thing I want to go back to on the media deal, Len, and I think it's important to anyone that's listening. You want to find areas where you can have impact right away and chalk up some wins. Now, I didn't expect my win to be the TV deal. It just worked out that way. Had we not gotten that TV deal done, I don't know if I would have had the latitude to do some of the things I'm doing, because it did truly credentialize the new vision of the conference and gave us a win coming out of the gate.
I think this is going to be an exciting kind of week or two coming up, but appreciate you guys listening. Please hit the like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you as soon as we get some more news, man. Have a good one.
Big 12 open for business.
There is no doubt the Big 12 is open for business. We will leave no stone unturned to drive value for the conference.